I will show you a way of tying one of my favorite flies, which is the Griffith's Gnat. This video will not only display the pattern itself, but also a neat way of securely dress the fly with the materials involved. Start off as usual, and work your way back to the bend. And tie in the material where you want the body to begin. This fly consists of two materials, beside the hook and thread, and that is peacock herl and hackle. I'm using a grizzly hackle with fibers slightly longer than the hook gap, and when selecting a feather, I simply fold it around the hook shank to get a hint of how the finished fly will look like. Tear off some excess from the feather, like so, and tie in perpendicular to the hook. Like that. Also, tie in the peacock herl, and I'm using 2 strands. Cut away the excess and work your way back to the material. Now here's the trick. At this point I could have chosen to wrap the herl forward and then the hackle as well. But there's another simple way and also secure way of doing this, and that is to wrap the herl and hackle around the thread. This does not only provide a body and hackle at once, but also strengthens the fly significantly. So what I do is I take the herl on the far side of the hook, make sure that the thread and the material are close. Take the herl on the far side of the hook, and I just wrap it a few times around the thread, like this. And then I take the hackle on the far side of the hook, and I just lay it flat against the herl and thread. And then I use hackle pliers to pinch all the material and the thread together, like this. And what I do now is I turn my hackle pliers around the thread, which causes all the materials to spin around. I can help it with the pinch of my fingers as well. And I keep spinning until I've created almost like a fuzzy yarn, which contains all of the material now, all in one go. Now, when I'm pleased with the amount of spinning, I just grab the lot in my hand and I keep turning it around the hook. And this is important. Stroke back the fibers for every half turn you make, so that you don't tie any hackle in. You want them all to rise. Like so. Now when I reach the point of tie-off, I just keep tension on my thread and I let the hackle pliers loose. And as long as I keep tension on the thread, there's no risk of unwrapping the material, since it's spun several times around the thread. So I can just do this until I've released the materials from the thread. This one, like so. And with tension on the thread, I now tie the material off. Peacock herl is a quite weak fiber, so I can just rip it off like so. I don't have to use my scissors. The hackle, however, isn't, so I'll just cut it away. And for this fly I was using a white thread, and since I want a black head on my flies, I just take a CD marker and color the thread like this. Just a few inches. And then I secure with a whip finish or two. What I like to do on this fly is to cut away the hackle from the belly. This does not only help the fly to sit right on the water, it also makes it easier to catch fish, since there's no obstructions here by the